Yeah, it's constantly making the audience question who the villain is. Is it the boy that hurt the boy? Is it the man that took the boy? Is it the man that's chasing the man, or is it the system that's failed them all? And I think that's a good sort of question to leave lingering within it for the audience to ask themselves.
That Ethan will be home where he belongs.
Barron's Cove deals with some pretty dark material, and it's rare we get a lead who's so morally gray. So is putting yourself in this kind of headspace tough for an entire production?
Well, yeah, it can get a little draining, but when you got a good team, when you believe in and you did take a leap of faith with somebody that you find is kind of profoundly intelligent and brilliant for such a young age, like Evan Kellman was when we started making this film, you're all in.
When I know you're a father yourself, and there's a fine line between getting a great performance from yourself and putting yourself through something traumatic. So, how do you even begin to walk that line as an actor when having to portray a character like this?
You just ask yourself what you would do in this situation. It actually became much easier for me within having my son. My son was two when we were shooting this, and actually came down to set. You just find that there are no limits when it comes to your love for your child, of how far you would go if you were looking for answers in a similar manner of the journey we're on in this film. Also, the audiences get to leave with that question of how far they would go for their child, and how far is too far, and how far is too far when you think that you're right, you're onto something. So, hopefully the audience leaves with those questions as well. We shot in Massachusetts, and I moved out there a month before starting to shoot to really just kind of marinate on those questions myself and kind of dive into the material and be able to add as much as I could.
I personally try to go into movies without much prior context, so avoiding trailers and such. So the opening scene immediately hooked me. What was your initial reaction when reading the script?
I'm not really the Mr. Thriller man, but I love being an audience member when I've jumped into the seat of one. I love movies that move you. I love movies that either make me or audience members feel less alone, or give them the capability to escape whatever their life is, whatever either their unfortunate family dynamic or dilemmas are. I grew up with only three channels, way out on in the middle of nowhere. So film and television really helped me be able to escape, being in this isolated farm life. Um, so when I read this right off the bat, when his son is murdered in this manner, um, and I'm seeking for answers, I really just treat it like a drama, and ensues the personalizing and what would you do in this situation, and how far would you go? And how would that make you feel? And you would become absolutely combustible. You would do the most impulsive things just because of the rage and the reactivity that you have to these events. And you won't stop until you have these answers, or you've gotten absolute complete revenge.
Revenge stories can be quite black and white, but this one's so different and constantly put me through the ringer. Like, my opinion on Ethan changed like four different times during the film. What do you hope people take away from the ever shifting blame that goes on in the narrative?
Yeah, it's constantly making the audience question who the villain is. Is it the boy that hurt the boy? Is it the man that took the boy? Is it the man that's chasing the man, or is it the system that's failed them all? And I think that's a good sort of question to leave lingering within it for the audience to ask themselves. Um, um, or whether you want to find the truth, or if the truth is more dangerous than a lie itself. There's all these kind of little underbellies that make up the heartbeat of this film. Um, um, but at least for my part, for men out there, hopefully they'll all be wondering what they would do if they were a father, and were faced with this horrific event.
When you share a lot of screen time with Christian, and you've got over 20 years of experience in this business, so do you find yourself entering a mentor role when having such a young scene partner?
Oh, he was right there with me. He was kids nowadays. Look, I went into this film being a fan of him. He did that the wonderful show Sweet Tooth, and when my son was just a baby, I was in Boston binge watching Sweet Tooth. And there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, with the special effects and everything going on, he was equipped for all of this so wonderfully. Him and I were buds. I mean, he was the one egging me on when we go to Buffalo Wild Wings to do the challenge. You know, um, um, we'd decompress in between scenes of playing archery on the damn iPhone games, or I was quizzing them on country flags. Don't kid yourself. This little kid can name off every flag in the entire globe. Um, Beautiful kid, has such a wonderful, bright future, so talented. I cherish him.
Well, and finally, I have to ask you because I love you as Sam Flynn in Tron Legacy. Do you think there's any chance we'll ever see Sam return to the world of Tron?
Oh, I think there's a chance. You know, it's look, it's really an audience's decision. I just got to say, I take my hat off wonderfully for these guys bringing Aries to life. They'd worked so hard for it. They overcame. They were supposed to go before COVID. Then they were supposed to go right before the strike, and they kept overcoming these obstacles to bring it to fruition. Sean Bailey, who was the producer on Tron Legacy, helmed the ship as well on this one. I'm proud that they got this one to come to fruition. I'll be the first one standing in line. And the thing is, the more people see it, it's kind of a supply and demand thing. The more people that go see and experience the grid, the more they'll get.
That Ethan will be home where he belongs.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.